Have Ian Bate on the phone lines waiting for us. The floor is yours, Ian.
Hi guys, just thinking about the big fight on Saturday night. Obviously, massive fight in Britain, two big heavyweights. Just wondered who the panel thought would come out on top. Who do you think is going to win?
We'll start with the man of the moment, Mr. Warren.
Well, I managed Dereck Chisora, so I can't say any different. No, I think that Dereck can win this fight. I think it's going to be a tough fight, but I do believe he can win it.
Has it gone the way you expected? I mean, there was always going to be some criticism of this fight.
Well, as we said at the early part of the programme, this is legal, it's lawful. There is no, neither of the boxers have been banned. None of them have been arrested or charged with anything. The police in Germany have had Dereck Chisora in on 2 occasions, reviewed all the evidence, and said he wouldn't be charged, contrary to what a lot of people thought. And from my point of view, it's why shouldn't it go on? If this fight was to go on in a year's time, would people be saying, no, it shouldn't be going? Is Dereck Chisora not supposed to get a living?
Charlie, you missed the first part, unfortunately, with our wonderful London traffic. We discussed this in a little bit of detail. You've not been overly supportive of this event happening.
Well, not many people. I mean, with respect to Frank, who I admire immensely, and it's been the best promoter in boxing for decades. But it does leave a nasty
You will
taste
use the
in
word
mouth.
unseemly in one of your
Unseemly, yeah, I would say. I mean, they have a right to fight, but it's all about Frank wants to get numbers for Box Nation. And he said himself the other day that what's wrong with the freak show, which it almost is, rather than the boxing match.
Well, it's not a freak show because they're 2 athletes. They're highly trained athletes, and it'll be a fight. And I've got to tell you something. Charlie, you're quite right. What Charlie wrote, and I appreciate everybody having a point of view. And as did Jeff Powell, who's been vehemently against it, but for the wrong reasons. He actually told me he see Dereck Chisora throw the first punch against David Haye in Germany, which we all know if you look at the video evidence just did not happen. But the Daily Mail conducted a poll, online poll, and 72% of their readers said not only do they want to watch the fight, they will pay to watch it. So with the greatest respect, maybe the readers and not all the writers, maybe not too in touch with the readers on this particular issue.
It certainly captured the imagination, Rohan, hasn't it? I mean, it's the fight of the moment. Excellent planning, by the way. There's absolutely nothing else happening in the world of sport this weekend, so a bit of Frank Warren
juxtaposition. That's what we need.
What's your thoughts about this fight tonight?
I think it's a great fight. As I said to you, I love my boxing, but I like to be entertained, and I want there to be a lot of I want it to be really amplified, and I don't think we need more amplification on this fight because of what went on. What went on was not nice. What we heard, the words and the exchanges. These things can happen off camera, and unfortunately for them, people had their smartphones out, published it on YouTube. But I don't think that should stop them from, one, earning a living and going out and doing what they like doing, which is boxing. So this fight coming up, for me, it's as big as someone going to fight for a title. It's actually bigger because there's much more on the line.
You make an interesting point. I'm coming to you in 1 second, Charlie. Ian, very quickly, captured your imagination?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a big boxing fan as well, and these are the sort of fights that boxing fans want to watch. The best boxers in the world, Pacquiao and Mayweather, for some reason they can't seem to get together. So these sort of fights, they do capture the imagination of the fans. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out on Saturday as well. But I've got to disagree with Frank Warren there. I think that David Haye might just beat Chisora.
Thank you very much, Ian.
But
Charlie,
the British Boxing Board of Control. Frank's had to put in a writ for restraint of trade because they threatened to. Yes. I mean, how can we say they're the governing body of sport? Surely should, although it's quite difficult to respect the British Boxing Board.
Well, that's the point.
In fact, Frank has bankrolled in the past.
Frank, you made a very good point before when Charlie would make that point again.
The point is they're a limited company. This is a very high and mighty title. That I haven't got a problem with the British Boxing Board of Control. I have a problem with a small clique of stewards.
Frank, we have 30 seconds to finish that. No. I want you to make
sorry, they're running the sport, and they're not. And I don't believe that the way they've even handled this whole thing is wrong. Whether you believe they should be punished or not, the way the board have handled it, to say arbitrarily you fight or you're in any capacity you're involved in that show, and you will be deemed to hand your licence in. That's why it's a restraint of trade. That's illegal. You've got to have a hearing. You got you can't
Final
just go
word.
and say you're going to
Final
do
word
it.
is yours.
Oh, Frank.
Yeah, and it's
give
one
Frank,
word.
Give Frank the last word, definitely.
Box Nation, that's the last
Box
word.
Nation is the last word.